Hello Channel NITT viewers, welcome to Channel NITT. So to kickstart our new season, Season 3, we are going to do some catch-up series. So what we mean by that is that we understand that some of our viewers do not know MBTI at all. So in order for us to help you to understand MBTI better so that you will appreciate our further videos on MBTI, so we're going to do a 101 or introductory video on MBTI. So if this is your first time on our channel, welcome. So if this is the first time you are watching this channel, welcome. We are a psychology-based channel and currently we focus on 3 themes: MBTI personality, parenting, and psychological principles. And if you find our content interesting, do subscribe, like and comment. And I sincerely hope that I can add value to your life by providing you some psychological tips here and there. So MBTI stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. It is a type of personality test that you can find online. So for beginners, you can actually go online for a free assessment. Usually you just need to answer about 70 odd questions. Then you will get a MBTI report which looks like this. So I usually ask my students to go to personalitymax.com because you can actually get a MBTI profile very easily and quickly. However, I am not affiliated to them at all. So after having answered the questions on the MBTI test, you will come to a final page where you will find your MBTI type profile, which consists of 4 alphabets that look like this. So the MBTI type will always have 4 alphabets. The first alphabet is either E or I, which stands for extrovert or introvert respectively. So if you have an E on your MBTI profile, it means that you are more extroverted than introverted. If you have an I instead of an E on your MBTI profile, it means that you are more introverted than extroverted. Next, we come to our second alphabet. You will either be an S or an N S being a sensor and an N being an intuitive. So if you have an S in your MBTI profile, it means that you prefer sensing to intuition. If you have an N instead of an S, it means that you prefer intuition as a way of perceiving the world as opposed to sensing. Next, we come to the third alphabet. It will either be a T or an F. So if you are a T, it means that you are a thinker. You prefer thinking rather than feeling. If you have an F on your MBTI profile, it means that you are a feeler. You prefer to feel more than you prefer to think. Finally, we have the J and the P in the final box of the MBTI profile. If you have a J in your MBTI profile, it shows that you are a judger. And if you have a P, it shows that you are a perceiver. So what do all these individual alphabets refer to? Or what do these individual alphabets mean? Let's come to that. So the E and I dichotomy is actually very easy to understand. A lot of people already know what extrovert and introvert stands for, although it may be a slight misconception. But in general, extroverts prefer to focus on the outside world. On the other hand, introverts prefer to focus on the inside world or within themselves. So this is the main difference between the extrovert and the introvert. So if you are a sensor, you tend to be practical, realistic, factual, and aware of the surroundings. You also tend to focus on the present. If your preference is intuition, you are likely to be more idealistic. You tend to think in terms of concepts, and these concepts tend to be more abstract than concrete. You also have a tendency to focus on the future instead of the present. If you are a thinker, the tendency is you have a strong need to be objective. You tend to be logical. You are also rational and engaged in a lot of critical thinking. Feelers, on the other hand, tend to be more subjective. They are usually passionate, warm, and sociable. Finally, we have the judges and the perceivers. The judges are characterized by being more decisive. They are usually more organized. They also tend to be more seemingly responsible, and they like to plan. Perceivers, on the other hand, tend to portray a more carefree attitude. They might be prone to procrastination. They also seem to be more random and spontaneous at times. So there you have it. With all these 8 different alphabets, you can actually form 16 different personality types. So there are 16 MBTI types altogether. I personally find MBTI a very useful instrument in understanding yourself and understanding others, why you click with some people and do not click with some. It can also help you to understand the compatibility of different individuals in terms of parenthood and their children, in terms of co-workership, in terms of being lovers, and in terms of being friends. So it will definitely also tell why some teachers and students do not click. However, in episode 21, I have also mentioned that sometimes the MBTI test itself does not really work. It may not be accurate for some. In fact, there are some people who do it in January and try it again in April, and they get a totally different MBTI type for themselves. Why do some people have a different MBTI type when they re-attempt the MBTI test? That's because the MBTI test, online or written-wise, is usually based only on self-reports. So for a lot of people, your response may be prone to fluctuation. So for example, in January, you might have been single, but by the time it's April, you are in love. So you are more open to social activities because you are always going out with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. So in this case, when you are answering the questions on April, you now become seemingly more social and more feeling oriented. So therefore your MBTI changes. However, technically, a person's MBTI profile doesn't change. Also, the MBTI profiling using the MBTI test may not be very accurate for more mature people or more experienced people, because these mature and experienced people have already mastered their inferior function. So we come to that in another episode. So still, the best way to know your true MBTI type is through understanding your own cognitive stacks. So in our previous episodes, we have been talking about cognitive stacks. So I apologize to some of my viewers because you do not understand what cognitive stacks have been. So we will come to that one step at a time. So this is an introductory episode on what MBTI is. So go ahead and go to an online test. The link I have actually attached below would be one that I usually use. It's personalitymax.com. And as you can see, I am always consistently type the ENTJ. However, I understand that for many of you, your personality type actually fluctuates depending on when you are actually doing your test. If you have done the test or you already know your MBTI type, do comment below, write something about your MBTI type, then I will respond by talking about your MBTI type in a way that I understand it. Okay? So on our next MBTI episode, we will go more in depth into how you can actually interpret and deduce your own MBTI type. Better still, you can know another person's MBTI type by deducing from his or her common behavior or usual behavior. Thank you for watching this episode, and if you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing to us so that we can continue to give you very interesting material on psychology related stuff. And remember to turn on that notification button so that you will get notified whenever we have a new upload. So we hope this episode has actually helped you in some way, whether or not you are an MBTI beginner or you already know MBTI, and we will see you again in the next episode. Goodbye.